from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here's a. I don't know. I forget. I just tried to guess what PSA stood for, personal service advisory or something. But this one's a pet servicing advisory, or pet service advocation. Pet your pets if you can. Even if it's not physically, I mean, I know some pets you can't pet physically, but, give them a look of love. Let's do that. Let's give them a look, because when I say that for some reason brought up a bunch of jingles from commercials I watched in the 90s. So it's something like, if you wear cotton, you'll get a look of love. I think that was but anyway, look lovingly at your pets, pet them. They're so great. You may be confused, though, because it's time for Sleep With Me, a podcast that's more than a little confusing. It's a podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. We keep you company in the deep, dark night. This podcast actually doesn't put you to sleep. It's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. It's very different, so give it a few tries if you're new. That's what most regular listeners say. But the show exists because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a friend in the deep, dark night who makes bedtime a little bit more palatable. So you could look, here's the thing. You don't got a pet. Look lovingly at your pillows. Pillows. My pillows. I love them. I would say pillow-tonically. I love pillows. I love you pillow-tonically. That's a mouthful. But pillows, please don't put them in your mouth. Don't put my pillow. Yeah, pillows. Keep them out of your mouth. If you're confused, you're in the right place. So what we got coming up, we'll have some support. That's how the show comes out free. Then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. Then a bedtime story from our episodically modular show, Make Great Pets. So settle in, get comfortable, start getting ready for bed and unwinding, because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these sponsors are how we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. The whole purpose of Sleep With Me is not just to put you to sleep, but to let you know that you're not alone in the deep, dark night, to keep you company in the deep, dark night. And I have to ask you, do you feel less alone in the deep, dark night because of the show? And if you say yes, can you do me a favor and either support the show right now or set a reminder in your phone? Can you take a minute or two? And if you're in a position where you can afford to support the show at $5, $10, or $20 a month, or support it annually and save a little bit of money on your subscription, please don't wait. Set a reminder right now and just ask yourself, does the podcast put me to sleep on a regular basis, or does it make me feel less alone in the deep, dark night? Is the show there for me? Because if you're in a position to support the show, if you can afford to, and that resonates with you, I need you to support the show. I got to get through to this percentage of people that are willing to support the show and can afford to support the show, but are kind of stuck. Either you're falling asleep or you're just kind of like a couple people that signed up for this and said, hey, just remind everybody over and over again, set a reminder right now in your phone. Tell your smart speaker, tell your phone, remind me tomorrow at 9 a.m. to go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron and sign up for the show. That not only puts me to sleep, but makes me less alone in the deep, dark night. That keeps me company because I want it to be there. And I want to be there because I've heard from a lot of people that can't afford to support the show and some people that are just unwilling to do it. But I know the majority of people are out there, and I just got to get through a small percentage of you. That's it. It's a hard task, believe it or not, I guess because the show puts you to sleep. So please take that action. Even if you decide not to support the show, set a reminder anyway and say, hey, this show does keep me company in the deep, dark night. And then go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. But sign up and support the show. I don't want you to miss out on subscriber summer, but I don't want us to get to a point where the show cuts back or the show stops coming out just because I didn't reach out and make it clear enough who I'm trying to get a hold of. I'm I'm only trying to get a hold of a small percentage of people that are listening to the show, and you're one of them. If you're not along, you say, hey, yeah, I use this show on a regular basis. I can't afford $10 a month, or I could cancel something. And I just needed that reminder to make a reminder. So make a reminder right now. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Or if you want to support a show on Apple Podcasts, sleepwithmepodcast.com/Apple. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Get over to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the 2-minute quiz to get matched with a mattress. Now, I do have a bit of mattress FOMO. I have the Helix Dusk Luxe, but Helix has a new high-end collection called Helix Elite. And Helix has harnessed their years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers an elevated sleep experience. The Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. And that sounds amazing, but I don't know, like think about the bed you're in right now. You probably should have FOMO for the bed I'm sleeping in. I took the 2-minute quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. I got matched with the Helix Dusk, and I picked the Dusk Luxe because I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, I want to sleep cool. And that mattress fits my needs, right? And Helix is an amazing company to work with. Helix supports military, first responders, teachers, and students by giving them a special discount on site. You take that quiz, you find out what's going to be the best mattress for you. You don't got to go to a store, lie on a bunch of mattresses while somebody's watching you, asking you a bunch of questions. And with Helix, you could order the mattress online. You get easy, no-contact delivery. But you already know by taking that Helix quiz, the mattress is going to fit you and your needs, or you and your partner's needs. Take that quiz together, and that way you find the perfect mattress for you. And if you don't want to take my word for it, Helix has over 12,000 5-star reviews, but by supporting Helix, you're supporting me and the show as well, and your good night's sleep. So go get a Helix and thank me later for your best night's sleep. And get this, Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for Sleep With Me listeners. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. This is their best offer yet. It won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Deep Dark United Sleepy Supporter Zone. And we got a new person to thank, keeping the shows free this month, Jen with 2 N's. And Jen got 2 Polysleep pillows. By the way, those Polysleep pillows are my favorite pillows I've ever owned. You can check out the video I posted or go to polysleep.com. Use Sleep With Me 30 to get an amazing discount. Jen got 2 pillows. I got 2 pillows. And Jen, let me know what thickness you have your pillows at, because Polysleep has adjustable pillows. I got mine as thin as they go. But people like Jen who took a risk, checked out a sponsor, let them know about it. Let me know about it. That's how we bring you the podcast free, really. So thank you so much, Jen. And if you're thinking, how do I get on the Sleepy Supporter Zone? That's it. Set yourself a reminder. Check out a sponsor tomorrow. Support the show. Let them know about it. Let me know about it. Thank you, Jen. The second part of Sleepy Supporter Zone, you're getting the support you need right now. There's links to resources you could connect with that you could check out right in our show notes. It's about being a part of community, being a part of positive change, taking action, learning more, not just saying Black Lives Matter, not just saying stop AAP, I hate, not just saying support Ukraine, but taking action, learning more. And right now, throughout June, but beyond June, if you're hearing this message, we're supporting the Trevor Project we put out a special episode as a part of the Orlando Park Stop Hate fundraiser, and you could go to orlandoparkstop.com/charity. You could use the link in our show notes. You could support Trevor Project directly and join us. Be a part of positive change and take action. That's the second part of the Soupy Supporter Zone. Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
This posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your not
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, you can get your sleep phones. Most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. It's Sleep With Me merch. You just go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones and use Sleep With Me. You get $5 off your order. And send me a picture of you wearing those sleep phones. That's it. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts on your mind, things you're thinking about the past, the present, the future. Could be physical sensations or feelings or emotions related to those thoughts or that are just there. Could be changes in time or temperature or routine. Whatever it is that's keeping you awake, I'm here to take your mind off of stuff and keep you company so that you could fall asleep, because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need so your life is more manageable. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread or start thinking about early in the day or on Friday. You're thinking about falling asleep on Sunday night. I know how that feels. And please saying, not again, please, not again on that rigmarole. This is a podcast. I think like if you get the rest you need, not only is your life going to be more manageable, but then eventually if you do it on a regular basis, if you get that sleep, you have a bedtime routine, maybe you could be out there flourishing. And that means our world's a better place to be in if your world's a better place to be in. So, yeah, that's, what was that? That was one part. What I'll do, though, is I'll send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'll use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents, which means I'll get mixed up, I'll go off topic, and then I'll forget what I was talking about, then I'll double back around. Then I'll say, wait a second, did I say Oshkosh Bagosh? When was the last time I was at an Oshkosh Bagosh outfit? Not I stood outside of one. I do recall standing outside of an Oshkosh Bagosh in an outside mall. It was not the greatest time of all. I was waiting for someone using the restroom. I think I was holding their drink. And I looked in there. I'm pretty sure there was a slide in there. What is Oshkosh? I don't know. That's just a phrase I say. To my knowledge, I may have owned one hand-me-down pair of green Oshkosh Bagosh jeans. Here's something I don't recall ever owning, and I don't think I will, even though they look great on some people. Overalls, I don't, I mean, maybe as a kid I had some overalls, but I don't think so. Well, I can kind of picture those, what are those things called? Suspender things? But I don't know. I mean, probably, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I can't recall putting on, I mean, if I did, they were probably, maybe a corduroy, but not Oshkosh Bagosh. The one, I know I had a pair of green jeans. And they were from one of my older cousins. I'm not sure if they were Oshkosh Bagosh, but that was like one of my early brushes where I felt like close to fame. Because there was a show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right? Not everybody knows about that, but there was a documentary and then a film about Mr. Rogers. And he had a children's show and he was very friendly, but he had a friend or a neighbor, somebody called Mr. Green Jeans. Now, I could get emails and say, Scoots, this was a fever dream. I say, okay, well, I guess it was. But, and when I had green jeans, this is how simple I used to be. Like, I think I'm still the same way. Like simple pleasures in life. I said, I got green jeans. Mr. Green Jeans is known for their green jeans. Wow, I feel like this must be how Mr. Green Jeans feels. Plus, green jeans were not common. I mean, I guess that's why he was called Mr. Green Jeans. And I never thought about that. Like I just said, I really felt like associated like with Mr. Green Jeans, like some sort of spot, like the spotlight was glowing off of Mr. Green Jeans onto me. I felt special. I felt good. Now, it was many decades later where I wrote, oh, you get esteem from esteemable acts, not from green jeans. But early on, I was trying to attain my esteem through green jeans. That's a little sample from the Mr. Green Jeans story, which will never be published because they said, please don't, please. They said, we'd rather you don't. And I said, no problem. I'll just do it in my imagination, and I'll procrastinate on it anyway. But I don't know, like, that would be cool. You say, well, you got those Marvel backstories. Maybe they're working, I don't know, they're working on the DC universe, I hear. And occasionally they say, well, should we go backwards or should we go forwards? Or should we just start in the middle of the story? And I'd say, well, if you're looking to plumb the depths of a backstory, I'd say, how does one become Mr. Green Jeans? I mean, maybe that was on the show, but I could, I could handle. I don't know if I could handle. I mean, could you keep it at a tight an hour and 42 minutes? I don't know if I could handle, like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I mean, unless they say, wow. I mean, it's quite a story. Mission Impossible 12, Mr. Green Jeans. Anyway, so where was I introduced in a sleep podcast? I was trying to talk about pointless meanders and superfluous tangents, then we got one. So that's pretty handy there. Yeah, so pointless meanders, superfluous tangents, that means I'll go off topic and get mixed up, forget about stuff, wonder if a character that was an important part of my childhood even existed. I can feel those genes, though. Good question. I have no idea what age I was. Somewhere between pre-K and maybe tops fourth grade. They were not elastic. Great follow-up question. I didn't know we were doing a press conference on this, but it's great. They did not have an elastic waist. I assume they had a snap waist that looked like one of those Levi's buttons. Not a button fly, though. Though they could have had elastic waist, but they were like a denim-like material. Or they could, if I was wearing them, there's a good chance they were 100% polyester, but then they would have had an elastic waist. I remember, not to keep going on tangents, but one of the pair of pants, one of the images I have of myself as a youth is a blue turtleneck and elastic waist pants that were plaid, kind of a red, white, and blue plaid, but not in a festive, like, hey, this is the 4th of July, red, white, and blue. More of like you wouldn't see them and associate them with the 4th of July. You just notice that there's red, white, and blue. I don't know if that's Madras. I don't know if you can have a plaid that's 100% polyester. So those were some sort of other material. And like as one kid at school that could give me a hard time would say, I love what you've done with your mother's drapes or something. He probably said that to me. That's what he usually said. But that was like that's what I'd wear for picture day, I think. And I felt good. I can picture myself smile. I mean, that's one of those memories where I'm smiling from ear to ear because, when you got elastic waist band and a turtleneck, that was pretty much skin tight, yes. But you just, that was like what they built the Oshkosh Bagosh brand on, even though none of those clothes were by Oshkosh. Like that's the state, that was, what was that? Was that Simon and Garfunkel or just Simon? The Oshkosh Bagosh State of Mind. That was one of the greatest marketing campaigns that ever existed, only in my mind. you know you've got an Oshkosh state of mind. They could have done, that could have been a thing, but it was just the stars did not align. So, okay, so I'm here to introduce the sleep podcast, huh? Oh boy. Now, it's not going great, but it's going exactly how it's supposed to. So this is a podcast you don't really listen to. You may have already figured that out. You just kind of, you go, uh-huh. Okay, uh-huh, Alaska waistband, check. Uh-huh, never wore overalls. I doubt it, but it's possible, maybe. Oh, by the way, if someone's wearing, that's like a high crush likelihood for people in overalls, or if not a like romantic crush, like a crush, like, well, I wish I was that person and I could sport those overalls. Is that a Huck Finn? Do I have a Huck Finn complex? Is that a thing? Could we get that in the DSVM 27? Oh yes, you're falling into a Huck Finn delusion again, Scoots. Okay, well, I'm going to go paint some fences then and that's Tom Sawyer. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go ask Aunt Polly for a cracker and then try to get through the sleep. So this is a podcast, you just say, uh-huh, oh boy, Aunt Polly, eh? Okay. So you just kind of barely listen. You can listen. That's the thing. I'm here to the very end. This show's over an hour because some people can't fall asleep. And so I'm here to keep them company. But that's the thing about this podcast. There's no pressure to fall asleep. That's why I'm here for over an hour. Some people listen during the day. This is a podcast that doesn't really put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company and take your mind up. Now, I do propose, you may have forgotten you were listening to a sleep podcast or something to put you to sleep, and I couldn't blame you. You'd say, I have no idea what he's talking about. It's not really interesting, but it's not uninteresting. I don't understand if he's trying to make a point or if he's doing it on purpose or he's just being himself. Check the last one. But yeah, I don't even have any idea what's going on, but it's not bad. It's a podcast that I just barely listen to. Kind of keeps me company because I'm here to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your boar bud, your boar bestie, your neighbor, your boar burr. Your boyfriend, your friend in the deep dark night, just like if you called me and you said, could you talk to me about nothing? Do you think you could go on an 8-minute tangent about Oshkosh Bagosh that has very little to do with Oshkosh Bagosh? I say, by gosh, I can. How many different pieces of intellectual property could I parody or satire while I'm, by accident? No, I'm 100% on purpose, but, that seems like a total accident. Also, if there's any way you could use an Oshkosh Bagosh metaphor to help me understand what those words mean, that'd be terrific. So this podcast doesn't put you to sleep. It just keeps you company. You don't really listen to it. It does. More good news, takes like 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show because it is so different. You've already experienced that though. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't, like if you're skeptical or doubtful, I mean, why wouldn't you be? I've just proved your point for you. But eventually what happens is you go, oh, okay, now I get it. He knows that he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he knows what he's doing. And he's always doing it, but he's never getting it done. And I'd say, yeah, you're right about that. What if, has there ever been a character, like maybe Uncle Eddie would say, overalls? Oh, I'm wearing them. I thought they would do just fine as underalls. I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you'd say they're too bulky. Why do you have your, so you're wearing your thermal overwear. I have my thermal overwear on my underalls. Uncle Eddie. Where was I? Okay. Oh, this good news is this podcast takes some getting used to. If you loathe the show, you're probably already sending me an email. But just in case you're still listening, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you has tons of other sleepy stuff on there. Just exchanging emails with another sleep podcaster today. So there's other sleep podcasts on there and sleepy stuff you could check out because you still deserve a good night's sleep. Even if this podcast doesn't help you. So those are, structure of the show. Oh, structure of the show. That's the other thing I got to talk about. So the show has a very specific structure, but you can adjust it as you become a regular. So it starts out with the greetings, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed in. Then there's support for the show, like via sponsors and listeners, so the show could be free and come out twice a week. Then there's support for listeners who are having a tough time and community stuff. Then there's an intro, which is separate from the support, and I don't want you missing out on it. I mean, can you believe where we, 8 to 12 minutes ago, I was just looking in a window waiting for someone to go into the bathroom, quoting a Whitney Houston song and trying to relate it to Oshkosh Bagosh. And then who came up first? Which came first? The Oshkosh Bagosh or the Green Jeans? I have no idea. So I don't want you to miss out on the intro, because the intro is not so much to put you to sleep, but to ease you into bedtime. You could fall asleep during the intro. You could skip the intro. But for most listeners, the intro is part of their wind down routine. Whether you're getting ready for bed, you're doing some other chill activity, or you're in bed getting comfortable, the intro creates a buffer during the day and sleep. I mean, to be honest, and maybe it's just like people that listen to Sleep With Me or people that are in this sub-niche. That's how long it takes me to wind down and get to sleep. It takes a little while. But then when I'm wound down, then I'm ready to ease into bedtime and sleep. So that's why the intro is like somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes long. Then there's support again, so the show could be free, but you could pay if you don't want to listen to the ads. And then there's our bedtime story. Tonight will be our episodically modular series, Make Great Pets, about how great pets are. And then there's thank yous at the end. So this is a structure show. It's why I make the show. I think my experience in steam through Green Jeans, there you go, is pretty much what qualifies me to make podcasts, keep you company, and put you to sleep. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple ways I'm able to do this for you for free twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $700 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations. All right, everybody, Scoots here. It's time for our episodically modular series, the Make Great Pets. If you're new, so welcome. So glad you're here, and I could still be here with you, keeping you company. Here's what you say, what's the episode? I've never heard this series, but what's it called? Make Great Pets, it's called. What does episodically modular means? It means you could listen to it in any order. Most of the episodes, are mostly self-contained, but even if you decide, so this should be episode 12 that you're listening to, but you could listen to this first and listen to all 11 episodes, even out of order, and it'll still make enough sense for a bedtime story that kind of makes sense. And I won't set everything up at the beginning, but the character will, to fill you in. But it's about pets helping people, which is great, so that's what we all say is great, right? It's great when pets help people. I mean, it'd be great if pets, pulled their own weight a little bit, maybe, but that's what, that's just a joke. I'm kidding, Koa. She's listening, so I was being a little passive, saying, you could, instead of creating bills, you could pay bills, but, the dogs and pets help in so many other ways. Including you really can't beat a cold nose. I mean, if it was something like, I never thought, well, I guess I did think, but a cold, wet nose brings me so much joy, really. One of the highlights of my, not, it doesn't happen every day, especially like on the inside of my arm, on the soft part of my arm. So, or on, what's that called? My lower leg. So it's like a nose kiss. I love it. So and speaking of kisses, there's a vocal kiss we're about to receive from our Hollywood announcer who drives here all the way from Los Angeles. It's over 300 miles, and there's like a lot of traffic, or can be. He never talks about that, though. He never talks about the distance, never talks about the traffic, even though I beg him to keep a journal of his stops and thoughts he's thinking or places he'd like to stop. He doesn't do that either. But he comes here out of his love of people, the need to put people to sleep and to put a flourish on a podcast, that's a low flourish podcast. So we're so grateful to have him, as always, on our episodically modular series, Mr. Antonio Banderas. This is the friends beyond the binary. This is the ladies, this is the gentlemen, this is the boys and girls. It's time to make great bets. Meow. And thank you. Yes, I'm here for the love of listeners and the love of sleep. Yeah. Thanks, Antonio. Looking forward to playing. Can we play that tile game, HIVE, later? Oh, wait, I can't say that either. Can we play the tile game with the garden friends later? Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so that's Mr. Antonio Banderas, and this is Make Great Pets. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Rin, and I am, let's see, how do I introduce myself? I don't know if if you're listening to this, you're either, I want to say you're part of the same training program I'm a part of, but you'll be in a different stage of a training program that I was a part of, because I've been trained, but then I'm actively recording these as a part of the training process for what I'm doing, which is helping people on Earth at turning points in their lives as one of their pets. And this is a program, like they say, so right now I'm inside a pet, asleep, a pet that's asleep. Believe it or not, I'm supposed to note anything of note. This is the first time I've recorded one after I completed a task and I'm asleep, because usually you gain consciousness. It's weird. You wake up when your pet's asleep, and then but I already knew I was inside the pet, going through a day and saying, okay, there's where I lay down. There's the person maybe I'm working with, or it could be this person. This is the first time my pet must already be asleep, and I came into the pet when they were asleep, or my memory turned on or whatever, because normally I would have had a full day of reporting, but I don't. So that'll be interesting tomorrow. I'll have a lot more to tell you. Right now, I only have to tell you that and, why am I here? Because if you're listening to this, you'll probably hear other recordings in order of my current, we'll call it a mission, but it's not necessarily a mission. It's kind of like a solve your own adventure instead of a choose your own adventure. Solve your own adventure, solve your own someone else's adventure. Because if you're part of the program, or maybe you're just listening to this, or maybe the program's taken on a new form where it's more like this training I'm receiving, though I did take a great body awareness class, and some breathing classes, and a lot of listening classes. But so what's important to know is that later I'll the pet will wake up, and then I'll observe things and eventually find what human I'm supposed to help, and it'll be a turning point in their life, whereas their pet, I'm supposed to help them navigate this turning point. And, maybe you'll hear more training based on the choices I've been making, because it can be hard. Am I supposed to influence them or comfort them? Am I supposed to help them find their way or not? Do they know I'm there? No. Do I have full control of their pet? No. So I can't, do things a pet couldn't do, like communicate, even if it was like some sort of barking that sounded like language, or start typing on a typewriter. I can smash a typewriter with pause, but I can't make the connections. I only have a slight, probably more than slight influence over the pet. So a lot of times I've chosen art or comfort or drawing something and not doing a great, I said, well, I'll do a light bulb, but then it looks like a swirly circle. So basically that's what I'm here for. There is another thing of note I've been noticing is that seems to be another program. Oh, so what is the program we're in? Just in case you're listening to this, you never heard it before. I mean, I guess the only way you could be listening to this is if you're in a post-earthly existence, unless something's totally changed or someone downloads the audio and then sends it to Earth. But I'm a post-earthly being, and as a part of my post-earthly existence, I was given this opportunity to take part in this program where the Make Great Pets program, where we don't make pets and we don't make pets great. And there's very little that you'd say, great, I get to help, I guess, that as a pet. But it is called the Make Great Pets program. And probably because other programs like Pet Friends or pets that like guard you as you're navigating an important decision in your life, is that this program may be, well, this is where I say there's other programs, but there's been other programs in the past too. Where they had something called guardian angels once, and then they had poor people who made poor decisions with their time on Earth, and those programs did not work. They were unsuccessful to a very large degree. Now, luckily, because of whatever, I don't understand redundant Earth or I don't understand that stuff because I watched too many movies as a earthbound human. But, so those programs did not work. You may have even heard of the Bezos Penny, Sears incidents and timeline where that was where the guardian angel program was proven to be not great twice, two different ways. They also, at a time, created their new program, which was guardian people who made poorer choices while they were on Earth program. That did not work either. And so now they're trying this program that I'm a part of, but there also seems to be another program going on with someone named Cinda, who is part of a program that seems similar. Cinda takes human form. I don't have a whole lot of details on this, just what I've been studying, or a name like Lucinda. I don't understand the mechanics of how Cinda's able to be a family, like a trusted member of the family or friend or relative, and go and help the people, the same people I'm trying to help, at a turning point in their lives, at the same turning point or around the same turning point, because we're usually there at the same general time frame. But also that Cinda, the training Cinda's received, and maybe the task is, because our thing is like to make it a good long-term decision that's additive to the lives of the people we're there to help in their world. And but Cinda's Cinda's what a goal, I don't know if you'd call it that, or mission, is not the same as ours. It is to help the person get the most out of this turning point in their lives in a more efficient, direct way. Like, I'm trying to think, okay, well, and this is probably not the best example, but let's say someone handed you the keys of a candy store and you liked candy. And that's probably not the best example, but maybe Cinda would, I don't think Cinda would say just to take all the candy and enjoy it. But you'd say, well, you could run it as, whose keys are they? Why are you, but like, I guess that's what I'd, well, how do you feel about candy stores? Why did they give you the keys? Are you supposed to help? Is this your business? Cinda would say, clear out the candy store. if as long as you're not going to, if we can prove there's not going to be consequences of you clearing out the candy store, take everything in the store or take over the store and let's get the most out of it, whether it's eating a candy or, making a profit on the candy. But that doesn't mean this isn't right or wrong or anything. It's just, I would be more like, okay, well, yeah, maybe running it as a business. Are you supposed to be running it as a business? Do you want to run a candy-based business? So, I don't know, different approaches. It does seem to be slightly competitive, but I don't know. So that's everything right now. I'm going to close my eyes and rest because you do need to sleep, but mostly the sleep comes easy except for waking up and knowing you have to record your mission log. So pet, I wanted to say something like Star Trek, pet's log, but it's I don't know what pet I'm in. So, okay, so, I'll be back. Well, hey, everybody, this is Rin. I don't know if I introduced myself last time. I'm Rin, post-earthly human. I think you knew that. And, oh, boy, do I have a lot to say. I recorded my last message, and I said I woke up, and I'm not inside a pet. And I woke up at this time, and Cinda was there. I also mentioned Cinda. I don't think Cinda was listening. But as soon as I could see Cinda sitting there, and Cinda said, "Hey, I'm glad you finally woke up. I need your help." And I could see, what's that stuff called? Wool. So I'm assuming I'm a sheep. Things feel a little off. I'll be honest, I don't feel the sheep, but I see the wool and I smell the sheep. I sense the sheep, and I also hear it buying. And Cinda does seem to like the sheep or do a lot of petting, but I can't feel it. But I haven't told Cinda that, and I'm only starting to process it now. But Cinda said, I need your help. I'm glad you woke up. And I said, okay. But, I was already I just woke up. And then I already stated, are we in a competition? Some things, I don't always remember everything either. So, but Cinda said, I need your help. I said, okay, well, how can I try to help? And Cinda said, I want to work together. And I said, okay. And we're here to help out this person. Starlight is the name. Great name. And I said, okay. And then Cinda said, she's out here isolated, tending sheep alone. And I said, okay. And Cinda said, she's out here alone and isolated by choice, but not a choice she realizes she made. And I was like, okay. Just trying to use my same listening skills. I said, okay, because this is part of my process anyway, which you'll hear about if you've never heard about it because Cinda asked me about it. And I said, okay, well, why do you need my help? And Cinda said, well, I realized, what if we're supposed to be a team? We've been working. And Cinda just paused and said, it was a kind of parallel play. And I said, well, parallel play, I don't know if that, and then Cinda said, I think I have a lot to learn from you. So maybe we could help Starlight together. And I said, okay, so we're going to help Starlight, who's here on a sheep farm by themselves. And Cinda just nodded. And Cinda said, well, where would you start? And I said, okay, well, we do the W thing. And Cinda kind of looked at it tell me more, which is good for training. So it's good for you that Cinda was asking me. Because I try to go through, and this is what they do, who, what, where, when, why, how, to kind of figure out who is the person we're supposed to be helping and what is the decision making. What is the turning point of their lives that we're supposed to help with? And so I said, okay, who, Cinda, would be Starlight, right? We think, because I said, but that's only human here, Earth-based human. I said, but you're a human? And Cinda kind of shrugged and smiled and then shook her head no after a pause. And I said, well, that's, and she said, gave me this, the symbol, go on. And I said, so Starlight is here alone. And I said, does she want to be alone? I said, I'm going to need more for the who. Who, what? What does she want to be? What is going on with Starlight? Who, what, where, when? I said, okay, right now I'm here in this, this is like a kind of like a nice, cozy stable. Okay, but where's Starlight? I haven't met Starlight yet. Who, what, where, when, now? How, who, what, where, when, what, why, and how? And Starlight said, Cinda said, what's the how? What's your how? And I said, well, I'd gather more information probably. And Cinda said, well, what if you had to act based on the information you have right now? I said, okay, well, as a sheep, and again, what was strange is we were communicating, and it's not like I was a talking sheep, like you get that, right? But I felt like I was talking and using my hands for expressions and things, and Cinda was kind of reacting that way, but maybe where it was telecommunication, but I thought I could hear my own voice, but again, this is ethereal for sure. But go back to the how. I said, well, I'd probably try to see what Starlight's connections are. Maybe get her to connect more, even if it's online, or make a list of connections, or look at old try to find photographs. I need more info, I guess. So this far is like, okay, this is, something feels weird, but I said, yeah, I guess I'd do that. But then I was trying to do that to show Cinda. And that's when I realized, I said, wait a second, am I inside the sheep or so finally that stuff of me wondering if I was that caught up with me. Cause I said, I'm not feeling like I can move the sheep or anything. Am I in? I don't know exactly. I said, and then Cinda said, no, look around you. Because here's the thing, when you're used to looking through the eyes of a pet, but it's a different pet every time, the detail, should have been obvious. So I guess point of training, maybe look around more, because I was in some sort of jar-like thing on a necklace around the sheep, and I could see myself in my kind of it's similar to a post-earthly person. An earthly person even. I had my full corporal being. I started patting myself, then I said, okay, I'm in some sort of jar-like thing. And Cinda nodded and said, yeah, it's a device. And I said, what do you mean? What, I'm in a device? And Cinda said, yeah, it's a device of my own devising. I wanted to try a new approach. And I said, well, is Starlight going to be able to see me? That'll be weird. And Cinda said, no. And I said, okay, well, I'm confused, really confused now. And Cinda said, well, I'm going to act for you. Something happened. You'll be fine. You'll come with me and we're going to go and I'll be your pet almost. And we'll go try to figure out these connections. But I said, what if you just connect with Starlight? And Cinda said, well, Starlight's not home right now. And I said, I thought Starlight was isolated. And Cinda said, well, Starlight's out. There's other sheep other than you. You're not the center, but I said, I'm not a sheep. I'm in some sort of jar. And Cinda said, it's not a jar, it's a device. And I said, okay, great. And And Cinda said, come on, let's go look around the cabin or the home. I guess it's not it's a cabin that's a home, or you could call it a house. But then I kind of was like trying to make small talk, but also trying to figure out, I said, so Cinda, while we're looking through here, can I ask you some stuff? And she said, sure. And I said, are you in some sort of, I'm in a training program to help people at turning points in their lives through their pets. And it seems like you're in a program, you're in a similar program where you're helping people at turning points in their lives, but you get to be a person. And how does that work? And Cinda said, I don't really know, but it's good and it's not good. And I said, what do you mean? And Cinda said, well, I don't get to be a full human. I'm just there she goes, I go, in between when I'm there helping the person, I kind of go, I can't go. She goes, I wanted to go to a 7-Eleven, couldn't do that. So just frustrating. Kind of like you just came out of thing, woke up in my device. I wake up, so it's like I'm only there for the moments I'm supposed to be there or something. I have full control, but it's like, did you ever see that movie with the people, in that movie with about the juice of the batal juice, and if they tried to open the door and go outside, there was a giant deserts, with, earthworms that would say, hey, go back inside. And I said, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And Cinda said, it's not the same as that, but I can't just go anywhere. So it's kind of like a bummer, not being able to go anywhere. And I said, see people or whatever. And Cinda said, yeah, that's tough. I'd like to go see people, yeah. And I said, okay, that's tough. I'm sorry. I actually felt like the need to apologize I said, I kind of was feeling like you were in the way of me doing my task, but I didn't even think about that. I felt like it was unfair that you get to be human. I didn't realize it would be challenging to be only kind of human. And Cinda said, yeah, it's a real challenge. And I said, so you can't go to a 7-Eleven. And Cinda said, well, there was one time I got to go to one, but it was part of my assignment. So that was good. I got some, the donuts with the, and I said, with the crumbly crunchies on there. She said, yeah. And I said, she said, yeah, I've been doing this a little while. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, do you feel like, this is going to be useful to us helping Starlight? And Cinda said, how? And I said, yeah, the who, what, where, when, why, how part, do you think that Starlight, maybe this is why we're both here, is to help Starlight realize those connections, or that Starlight likes living here with just a sheep? I said, I don't know, because I haven't met Starlight. If that's, if this is a thing where we're hey, let's just help you make the most of this. You seem like this is your choice. Or are you avoiding making another choice that Cinda and I can help you with? Because we don't want to be in a life unlived situation with regret, right? But Cinda seemed distracted. It was suddenly, because Cinda said, do you ever wonder, how long your training program is? And I said, good question. I said, I guess in the back of my mind, but now I'm wondering, I don't know. And Cinda said, yeah, what if, how do you feel, how have you felt? And I said, well, it's got some ups and downs. Like you said, it's not great being in a pet you can't control. I've been busy, but you can't control the people either. That can be hard. I guess because I've been a pet, I can't relate to your, now that you brought it, now I'll probably be thinking about going to do stuff like you said, So that'll be probably hard to get out of my head. Hopefully the pet will hopefully I don't know what I'll do about that. And I said, so yeah, I can see how it'd be tough, what you're doing. And since it's real tough, like, did you ever think about the angels or the guardian angels? And I said, a little bit, because, yeah, those are programs that preceded us. And Cinda said, it's almost like I planted a seed in you by accident, so now I feel bad. And I said, what do you mean? And Cinda said, think about this, if this is what I'm going to be, how long am I going to be doing this for? Or I've been thinking about that. And this thirst I have now for Earth, and that I can't slake that thirst, right? And I said, sounds like this is, but it's a process, right? Like the thing about being a part of a training program or a new program, I don't know anything about your program. They didn't tell us about it. But the thing is that it's a process, right? And there is like being patient is a part of the process. That's what I've learned with working with the humans and being a pet. And Cinda said, that's kind of garbage. And I said, what did you say about the angels and the guardian angels? And I said, or Cinda said, well, like, didn't work out because what if they were like, they wanted it, like, they were too close to Earth and to, like, the people, what if, and I said, oh, okay, this is really hard on you, huh? And Cinda said, yeah, but the difference is that with us, and she was referring to me, she said, I think that also the angels started to look at people like they were pets. And maybe that they were too close and too far away at the same time. And that's where the kind of all or nothing stuff came in. And I think that's probably why it didn't work out. Now, I didn't totally track Cinda's thoughts, but I said, oh, wow, yeah, okay. I mean, now, laying here, sleeping in a device or wherever I am, even though when I close my eyes, I'm still in the same place. I get it in some sense. The pet metaphor is like the angels were trying to train humans, maybe. And then there was frustration. I think I talked some of that because then Cinda said, well, we both love humans. I've seen you, Rin. You love humans. You love humanity. And she said, we both have fresh humanity between the two of us, too. And I said, holy cow, she's right about that. I can feel the humanity coming off. We haven't lost our humanity, huh? I said, because I don't know anything about angels, right, other than what I was trained and what I heard on Earth about the whole thing with Bessos Penny. That was post-Earth. And she said, we're so close to humanity now. And I said, yeah, I guess we're supposed to be close to it, right? We're supposed to love it. That's why we want to help. And Cinda said, yeah, maybe we should take a break and get some rest. And I said, okay, well, I mean, it was a long time looking around. I mean, I'm just summarizing. So I'm going to rest, and then I'll be back again tomorrow, I guess. So, okay, so I could come back. This is Rin again. Hi, everybody. It's the next day. I think this is my third day here or something, or my second day. And so I got a lot of info. Holy cow. It was a long day. Starlight eventually came back, but there's a lot of levels to this. So first of all, Cinda and I were talking. When I got up, Cinda was already up. And we're talking about love and our jobs, and Cinda was just going off about, not going off, but on tangents about, well, you have this one-way approach, and I've had a different approach, but we both love people. And I said, okay, Cinda's on a lot about this love topic, but seems to be struggling with it. And I said, are our programs in, do you know if they're in like competition? Is this the kind of thing where we're supposed to prove like is there like the guardian angels versus the guardian buds versus the pets versus the efficient, like the Cinda, like help you get it. What do you think your job is, Cinda? And Cinda said, it's kind of simple. I'm supposed to help them get the feelings they want now. Like to find a way to get the feelings, they have feelings. And I'm trying to help them get what they want now. That'll help them with the feelings they're having. And I said, oh, okay. That's kind of what I thought. And Cinda says, Starlight's going to be back soon. But there's something else you should know of why everything feels a little bit different. And I said, okay, what is it? And then I said, do you mind if I ask you, before you lay this on me, can I ask you a couple more questions? And Cinda said, sure. And I said, so I end up randomly, I've been having trouble with this stuff. Like, I've been randomly appearing in different pets to help different people. Is that how it has been for you, or do you get to choose, or is it random? And Cinda said, not exactly. And I said, what do you mean, not exactly? And Cinda said, I'm getting closer and closer to people like, and Cinda said, never mind. And I said, like people like you might have known, or or like people like and Cinda's like, yeah. And it's something, if I the more I focus, the closer I get. And I said, this is a delicate question, Cinda. Now, I feel like when you said the word fresh humanity, right? And I know when I was on Earth, if you were to lay out the rules in a clear green check mark or red X way, that I don't think I would be assigned this task because I had everything in the green check marks. I had some green check marks and some red X's too. But I think if you were to ask me, say, yeah, I wasn't the best Rin I could have been, but I was doing the best I could. And when they told me about this program, I said, great, because I do have some feelings about not being the best Rin I could. But I also said, when I was thinking about what it would be like in post-earthly thing, I said, well, I wouldn't want to be a part of any post-earthly thing that's really counting all your green check marks and red X's. It's more like that I would have wanted a post-earthly existence where I said, what was the best, what would the best version of Rin be? And I said, well, interesting. I put that on my application to be a part of this program. So I'm just wondering if you feel like, you're not, I guess I'll just say it, you're not all red check marks, right? Or red, you're not, you know what I'm saying, right? Cinda? And Cinda said, well, I've got quite a few regrets too, Rin. And I would say that, maybe my life was a little bit unlived, but it wasn't all red check marks or red X's or greens either. You're right. But there was like this calmness about Cinda where I would have thought the reaction would be, what in the name of, that would be funny if Cinda said, what in the name of Moses? I'd say, I don't know what in the name, and I said, okay, well, you were supposed to tell me something important. And then I went off and I was wondering about things. And Cinda said, right now, where Starlight is a middle place. And at the time, it took a little more explaining. But I think that's because Cinda was more like, and I said, what? I don't understand. And Cinda said Starlight's between the Earth, like hasn't gone to, is not in the big farm or on Earth right now, but is deciding where Starlight wants to be. And I said, like in the movies with the light and stuff? And Cinda said, yeah. In the movies with the light and the stuff. And I said, it could go, that Starlight has a choice. And Cinda said, kind of, like, if that connection can pull Starlight back, then Starlight can go back. Cinda said, I don't understand it, Rin. And I said, do you get a briefing before your missions? And Cinda said, of course, you don't get a briefing before. I said, I just wake up in a pet. And Cinda laughed and patted me on the back. And Cinda said, yeah, so we're supposed to help Starlight. And that's why I want to work together, because why would we work in opposition? And I said, well, it's kind of hard, though, to help, because I think both of our choices of what we would want for Starlight is what we'd want for ourselves, right? And Cinda said, yeah, but so that maybe is why we should help. And I said, I think I would have to, if this was some sort of thing, I would have to recuse myself. And Cinda said, well, that's not an option. We have to figure out what the draw is as a pet. Then Starlight came. Now, this was where Starlight could not see Cinda, which is also different. But I said, well, we're in we're middle between earthly realm and the big farm realm. And then, I said, Starlight kind of was walking around. And I said, well, where was Starlight, Cinda? And she said, going to get the sheep. I think it was I don't know. And I said, what'll happen next? And I said, she'll leave and she'll get, or Cinda said this, she'll leave and she'll go in one of two directions. And she said, we have to figure out, what's going to pull her in whichever direction. And I said, well, the Earth direction makes sense to me. There's a lot of pictures. And I said, oh, it's like the connections. Okay, I got it. So I kind of laid out my plan. I said, well, we'll put out some pictures. Seems like there's journals. Doesn't seem like it would take much. A couple of the pictures that Starlight's in and stuff. And Cinda said, okay. And then Cinda said, okay, let's rest. And Cinda said, I can do it. So that was interesting to watch. But even for Starlight, I was kind of watching Starlight, but it was kind of like watching Starlight in some sense. This is very different than a normal Earthbound experience, or even the Earthbound experience as opposed to Earth being inside a pet. But I'm still pretty confused. I'm really confused, but I figure, I don't know why I feel ominous. But maybe it's just because it's heavy, and like Cinda said, I wish I could go to a 7-Eleven and have a Slurpee or something. But I think the pictures will help Starlight, and then we'll feel good, and then maybe I'll go to my next mission and get out of this device I'm in. Okay, this is a Rin. I'll quote here the famous philosopher on Earth, Emma Otter, who says, all will be well. Because I woke up a bit ago, and it was quite the scene, man. Starlight and myself were connected to something. And again, this wouldn't make sense if you were on Earth, but like a little bit out of the movies, we're connected to a device, and Cinda was connected to it. And I said, what is going on? And then the sheep was connected to it. And Cinda said, it'll be okay, Rin. All will be well. And I said, just like Emma Otter says, but it doesn't sound like it. And I said, what's happening? And Cinda said, I'm going back to Earth through Starlight. Starlight's decided to go back, and I'm going to go back. And I said, well, how's that work? And Cinda said, I don't know, but only one way, like, don't worry about it because we're running low on time. And I said, run low on time? And I said, so what is happening? And Cinda said, I'm switching places. I'm going to go back. Starlight will take over for you, and you'll take over for me. And I said, that's good, but Starlight's not trained to take over, to be inside a sheep. And Cinda said she'll reboot as part of her training program, and she'll figure it out. Like, clearly she's intelligent. We've learned a lot about her that, I didn't talk about, but we did. And I said, this is not a good idea. And Cinda said, it's a great, it's a brilliant idea. You're right, it's not a good idea. I've been working on this for a long time. And I said, so you're going to take Starlight's place and go back to Earth. I said, but you'll get caught. And Cinda said, not before I get to a 7-Eleven and get to do some other stuff. And I don't think they will. I think it'll be fine. Now, maybe you're listening to this and it's clear, because it was clear to me, but the trouble was, I said, Cinda's completely delusional, but I can't just tell her that. And I said, holy cow, what am I going to do? And Cinda said, it's going to take a little while to get everything running. Because it was, I said, did you make all this stuff? And Cinda said, yeah, I've been gathering parts for years and years and years, learning more and more. And I said, I don't know what, and I wanted to say something like, this is non-organic. But then it hit me. I said, Cinda's delusional and this is non-organic, and none of this makes any sense. And that's where my heart hurt the most, because I said, Cinda's so delusional, but also something I hadn't realized. Now, this wasn't a certainty, but that came up inside me. It's like, well, not only is Cinda delusional, none of this is real. And I think, like, if you're listening to this in training, I said, if I was in a post-earthly training program, they would have unlimited resources probably. So, and if Cinda's in the same or a similar parallel training program, I said sometimes on Earth they would speculate. This is all I'm saying to myself in my head, by the way, not to Cinda, because it wouldn't have worked. But I said, I said, if this was everything's just a construct, just like people used to think on Earth, even though Earth's real and there's no simulation, because I started to remember, but also part of me was like, what am I going to do? And I said, poor Cinda. And I said, hopefully it is all an illusion, because if Cinda follows through on that, but maybe the cost would be the same. And I said, and part of me, the critic or whatever, said, well, I need more evidence. I said, okay, some of the cases we've done, they're like dreams of sitcoms or famous folk and fairy tales, in fables. And they've taken place in different time frames that made no sense at all. And I said, some of them are like a dream, when your temperature's high. Like that android, and then the rice. That wasn't. And I said, so some of them are movies, some of them are fairy tales, fables. And I said, wait a second, who am I here to help? Am I supposed to be helping? And then I remembered Footloose, right? And maybe I've talked about Footloose before. That was one of the films they showed us without telling us anything during training on movie nights. And some people would joke, that might have been the first film they showed us, that there was going to be a quiz the next day, right? But there never was. But in Footloose, and I'm Rin, and that was Ren, went to the town, had some stuff, ups and downs, but came in and wanted to dance, but knew that Ariel and Ariel's father were the ones that were, like, it took Ren a while to realize, oh, I'm here to help them. I don't know. They showed us a movie a bunch of times, so I think if you see it that many times, you realize, oh, Ren's really there to help Reverend Shaw. So Reverend Shaw can help Ariel maybe even, and that's my own theory, but he has to help him heal in the way they heal. And then I said, okay, can't tell Cinda this is all a delusion or an illusion. Either one, it's not a great idea, and it's not going to be a great idea. And I said, I'm supposed to help Cinda here. This is such a big turning point in Cinda's earthly or post-earthly existence. And so I used the Footloose method of saying, hey, like, you know, I've been thinking a lot about what you said about these regrets and all these choices on Earth and stuff, huh? And how much tougher it must be to be human than to be a person inside a pet. And Cinda said, yeah. And I said, it kind of reminds us of the lives we lived, like that fresh humanity, huh? And Cinda said, yeah. And I said, imagine if you were somebody, and I said, you know, because you think about that stuff, right? And Cinda said, all the time. And I said, what if someone took that away from you, though? And Cinda said, what do you mean? And I said, come on, Cinda. Like, that was your Earth time, right? And and I feel it because I treasured my Earth time so much I want it back. But I wouldn't give it up. It's a treasure I wouldn't give away to anybody, and I definitely wouldn't want anybody to take it. And Cinda said, you mean like someone with a bunch of, a device to kind of trade places and then trade places and then trade places and then go back to Earth? And I said, yeah, it's not like right or wrong, but it is, well, in the sense of the red check marks and the green X's or whatever. I said, but it's not, I said, you don't want to do it. And I said, maybe there's some, I don't know, like that. I think this program you're in, it shouldn't be going on. It's taking its toll on you. And you should get like some R&R. And the thing is that I know that like, that I get to record after this, Cinda, and that gets listened to. And what it makes me think is that, what you said about the angels or whatever and the other post-earthly helpers, in this training program, it's not easy being human. And this program is to help humans, but what about post-human humans, you know? Maybe they're the ones that need the pets. And maybe they're, and I decided that this is my pitch to all, whoever's training people are listening, because Cinda said, okay, you're right. And I still don't know, because Cinda said, okay, the next thing I knew, I was in the sheep. I was licking Cinda. Starlight was kind of like, I don't understand any of this. But Starlight left, and I'm sure the Starlight went back. And Cinda and I had some emotional exchanges because we had very intense feelings about all this. But Cinda petted my fur or my wool. And that's my pitch to whoever's listening, is that what if we help the people in poster, like, can't we use pets to help post-earthly people? Maybe we could, and maybe that'll help us help people later on. But it just seems misguided. And some people might say, well, don't you think an eternal existence with all your needs met is good enough? I say, well, good enough maybe isn't great. And pets could make it great. Pets helping. I don't know. That's just my idea for the next program, is that pets could help post-earthly humans, but I don't know. That's just what I think. And that's what I've learned is it's not easy being a person wherever you are, but that, as M. Otter said, it'll all be well. We're just doing our best, and it's going to be okay. And sometimes you got to, like, let it out like Cinda did. And I appreciate it. I'm so grateful for the adventures I had. And I don't know, will I get a new assignment one day? I don't know, what I'll wake up to tomorrow. Maybe I could have a vacation. And maybe Cinda's on a vacation with R&R somewhere. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to wake me up with red X's and green check marks or whatever, just keep me in a sheep or something, okay? I'm kidding. Good night to everybody that's listening. I hope this helps with your training and your program. Hopefully helping people that were people be people, make them great pets. Good night. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. I want to thank Amber, Laura, and Cynthia. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Addie, Ebba, and Winston. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Kimberly, Emily, and Amanda. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Candace, Tatiana, and Aaron. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Jennifer, Heather, and Angie. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Chris, Ryan, and John. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Fernando, Ernest, and J-Mac. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Madison, Emily, and Allison. Thank you, thanks, and good night to Kate, Julius, and Fig. And thank you, thanks, and good night to Bailey, Barbara, and Susan. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show directly on Patreon or Apple Podcasts. That's how the show comes out free twice a week, or people that support our sponsors and let them know about it. Let me know about it. You can fill out that form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. And I also want to thank everybody who spreads the word about Sleep With Me or the podcast in general. It's a huge help, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And here's Scoots, or a sponsor, and that's how we've been able to grow those archives over 500 plus episodes. Thanks and good night. All right, everybody, this is Scoots talking you in. If you're hearing this message and you're a patron or you're not a patron, you do not want to be missing out on the subscriber summer. We're putting out a ton of extra content for subscribers. As a way of celebrating and trying to find new ways to keep the show going for everybody and keep it free for everybody, which is a bit ironic, but without support, we can't keep the show free for everybody. So that's part of subscriber summer. But if you don't have your patron content set up or you're not a patron, you're missing out on it. And I know that only 1/3 of our patrons listen to the bonus content, and it's so easy to set up. You're already listening to this message in a podcast app. And if you become a patron, you could do this and you could just follow along. It's just 4 simple steps. You take your phone, you already have a podcast app. If you don't already have a podcast app, you use Pocket Cast is a great one, or to just listen to bonus content in exclusively. Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron feed, PATRONFEED. And that'll bring you to a page where you log into your Patreon account. Then it'll bring you to a page where it'll say Acast for Patreon. You'll click allow. That's how to connect the bonus content to your podcast app. It'll verify you're a patron, and then it'll bring up a list of podcast apps. Pick your app from the list, or if you downloaded Pocket Casts, pick Pocket Casts from the list. Give it a few minutes to load, because especially if you're a $10 or $20 patron, there's like 2,000 episodes in the feeds, but give it a few minutes to load and then click follow or subscribe and you're good to go. So sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron feed, log into your Patreon account, click allow, and pick your podcast app from the list, and you'll be getting all that sweet, sweet summer. And in addition, the rest of the year, we put out tons of bonus content. And $10 and $20 patrons also get all intro episodes. All patrons get story-only episodes, special edition episodes. $10 and $20 patrons get all-night episodes. So don't miss out. You were going to want to be a part of Subscriber Summers. Thanks, everybody.